Hello, my name is Sarah Sterling. I'm the Director of Risk Management Education for MJ Sorority, and I am excited to be here today to share with you a little tour around our new home on the internet, mjsorority.com. We have been working on our new site for about a year and a half now. We had a little COVID-induced delay, but really excited about our new home on the web. And hopefully many of you have already explored around the site. We launched in January, but I wanted to give an official tour, an official welcome, as we have been did a soft launch in January to see what kinks needed to be worked out. And so ready to officially launch the new site at this point. So as I mentioned, our web address is mjsorority.com. This is the homepage. We have several things, our COVID-19 response page there linked to, and the main page, just scrolling down. So kind of several links and resources here on the homepage, but I wanted to delve down into some things that I think you're most likely to use at the site. So first of all, as you can see, if you just hover over the menu options at the top, there is a drop down and then takes you to, or lets you see what is under each of those headings. And then we have some quick links here. This goes to the resource the resources. And then I wanted to show you specifically the resource library. So we have hundreds of resources here in our resource library and constantly adding new ones. And there's a few different ways that you can use this. One, you can these are organized actually by date. So the most recent resource is, or the most recently updated resource is listed first. So if you wanted to just browse in that way, and then scroll through the numbers here at the bottom, you could do that. Or let's say you are looking specifically for newsletters and bulletins, you would select that category and then filter it. And then it would bring up our newsletters and bulletins from the past years here. Or let's say that you wanted instead to filter by category instead of resource type. So you could unselect the resource type so that it would pull all different types of resources, and perhaps select property resources. You only wanted to see property resources and then filter by that category, and it would pull up the many different property resources that we have. Another option might be here at the bottom of all of the library pages. It's broken down by the audience type. So if you're a chapter officer or advisor, resources that you might find useful or helpful would be listed here. The same with employer or employee. Let's say you're at the national level, headquarters level, resources that we think might be appropriate for you here. And then if you're a property volunteer, and these can just be scrolled through using the right and left button arrows here. So that's just a little taste of the resource library. Of course, you can always use this search function that shows up on every page, and that will just search the entire site, including the resource library. So that might be a more efficient way if you are looking for something specific. So that's that first quick link is the resources. And then the second one, and the reason why many of you come to our website, is for a certificate of insurance. We have two different types of certificates of insurance. One specific for events, so your formals, any kind of social event or philanthropic event, any specific event that you're being asked for a certificate of insurance, you will want to use the event certificate form. And I'll go ahead and click on that here. I'm not going to go through this today because I don't want this to go on too long. But as you can see here, this is what we would need from you, your name, and it will go through different windows as you complete the form, and the type of information that we need from you with some reminders, here at the top, about certificates. So we need a minimum of 2 weeks notice prior to the event. We ask that before you sign a contract with the venue, you attach it here to this form, and we will review it for you to make sure that you're in compliance from an insurance standpoint. And we do require this form to be filled out for any certificate requests. So if you do have a certificate request, then we do require that you complete this form. So it's best to just start there if you have any kind of certificate request. The non-event specific certificate is a lot of the same information. It's not quite as in-depth. This would be typically for requests required by a university agreement, a mortgagee, or a lost payee, something along those lines. You would come to this form. And then just moving along to these quick links at the top, if you click that kind of old school telephone, you come to our Contact Us page. So this contact form gives you choices about your question type. You fill in your email, your phone number, and leave your question or concern here. And depending on what the question might be, it would go to perhaps me if it was a website question, or your client executive if it was more of a policy question, Heather, our claims account manager, if it was a claims question, or our phone numbers listed here as well. So if we just want to dive down a little bit further into these tabs, I won't go through every one of them, but this is our associates page if you want to kind of get to know us. Here's mine. Just our direct email, what kinds of things to ask me about from a sorority risk management standpoint, but also kind of some fun things to maybe ask me about, hobbies and things like that. Under our services tab, we do have some other resources here, contracts and lease review. And then once you click on that page, it pulls the entire, you can see the whole menu of the tab here at the left as well. Astacia Brandenburg is one of our client executives, who is also an attorney. She reviews our university recognition agreements, things along those lines. She's a helpful resource. Another spot to keep in mind is the claims section. And here we have, if you wanted to submit a claim on our website, you can do that here via this form. We'll go directly to Heather Cox, our claims account manager, or also you could just click on Heather's specific page, her number's listed here, and her email, if it might be easier to call instead of doing that online. And here we have broken down the various coverages, explanations that apply within the MJ sorority program. Just trying to explain them in a way that is hopefully easy to understand, and just things that you need to know about that coverage from a kind of larger perspective. And then under the resources tab, as I mentioned, we have quite a few COVID-19 resources at this point. It says here that you can also go to the COVID-19 section of our library and find all sorts of resources there as it relates to COVID-19. The other thing I wanted to show you is our FAQ section. And so we have many, many questions broken down by category type. And so if you maybe need to know, let's say you requested a certificate of insurance for an event that you had in the past, can you use it again? And no, you cannot. Certificates are all issued on an event-specific basis, except for those university type certificates that we mentioned that last for the entire policy term. So all sorts of FAQs here. If you do have a question that isn't here, then we encourage you to contact us and in all likelihood, if you have a question, someone else does too. So you're helping out the entire community by asking your questions. We also have some claims examples. A lot of groups of our clients like to use these for case studies, chapter meetings, things along those lines. Also linked to here is our sorority podcast, Real Talk with MJ Sorority. We'd love to have you take a listen to that. So I just wanted to give a brief overview, trying to keep it as concise as possible, but we are really excited about our new website, and we are counting on you to help us make it the best it can be. So send us your suggestions and any questions, as I mentioned, anything that you think would help make our home on the web more helpful for you in your position with your organization. Thanks so much for tuning in today, and have a great day.